Xiaoyan triggers a holy rank trial. Saint-level trial, an extremely rare, near impossible challenge that forces him to separate from his allies and face deadly long-term trials alone. No need to wait for the next episode. The full audio novel is already available on my website. Check it out below. When that sudden surge of power finally subsided, Xiaoyan slowly opened his eyes. A vast tide of origin monarch chi flowed through his meridians, steady and immense. Confidence rose within him. If he were to face the nine-nether monarch bug now, he would not dare claim victory, but dealing it a grievous blow was well within his grasp. His gaze swept the surroundings. Guyuan Jukun and the others were awakening one after another, as they sensed the formidable origin monarch chi surging within their bodies. Their expressions turned radiant with uncontrollable joy. This is the true power of a fighting monarch. Gu Yuan said, his voice trembling with excitement. No wonder those who reached this realm all shattered the void and departed the fighting chi continent. Compared to what we once knew, this is the strength that truly belongs to a fighting monarch. Ju Kun laughed, his tone brimming with exhilaration. Brother Gu speaks the truth, and I can feel it beyond that light gate. There is an even denser origin monarch chi. That is the true ground for a fighting monarch's cultivation. Hearing their words, Xiao Yan turned toward Kai Lin and Xun Er. Both women smiled gently, their eyes shining with anticipation. Without hesitation, he clasped their hands and fixed his gaze upon the shimmering light screen ahead. Determination burned within his eyes. Father, Uncle Ju, let's go. This is where our true battle begins. With that, Xiao Yan released a long, resounding roar. Pulling the two women along, he surged forward. Heavenly flames erupted around his body, weaving into a radiant barrier that enveloped the three of them in protection. Behind him, Gu Yuan let out a hearty laugh, his body cloaked in a layer of pure white light, while Ju Kun's form became covered in countless golden dragon scales. The two exchanged a glance and a knowing smile, then followed without hesitation into the gateway of the great world. As all five figures disappeared within the light screen, rippled briefly before returning to stillness. The boundless void grew silent once more, the Transformation Emperor Gate standing alone, unmoving, as though time itself had paused. After an unknown span, an aged voice echoed through the emptiness. Here, there is the aura of fragments, but it is far too faint, hardly of any use. The moment the voice faded, space itself shattered violently, tearing open a void that stretched for millions of zhang. Even the Transformation Emperor Gate trembled violently, as if unable to endure the force carried within those simple words. The old voice gave a faint note of surprise. Then, with a soft exhale, everything returned to its original state. Space healed. The gate stood firm once more. If this place were destroyed, those little fellows from the lower world would be in quite the predicament. The voice chuckled lightly before sighing. That small world holds nothing of value regarding the fragments. Forget it. A brief pause followed. Then, in a low murmur, Tershi. Silence lingered for a long time, as if the speaker had already departed. Once more the space fell into utter stillness. Only deep within the immense Transformation Emperor Gate, a trace of purple gaseous substance, no larger than a mustard seed, quietly remained. Light flickered before Xiao Yan's eyes. When he opened them again, an enormous square stretched endlessly before him, too vast to take in at a glance. Above it, towering black vortexes, each several hundred zhang high, rotated slowly in the sky. Turning back, Xiao Yan saw a massive black vortex behind them. Upon it were inscribed 4 resplendent golden words. Fighting Chi Continent. He inhaled deeply. Instantly, a dense surge of origin monarch chi poured into his body, resonating with the energy within him. This is the world of the fighting monarch. Xiao Yan murmured, awe flickering in his voice. As the 5 of them greedily absorbed the surrounding energy, a gentle laugh descended from above. Xiao Yan's expression sharpened as he looked up. A white-haired old man was descending from the sky, his face filled with astonishment as he studied them. The pressure emanating from the old man was immense. Xiao Yan felt a slight shock. Just as he was about to speak, the old man cut him off impatiently. "You all are from the Fighting Qi continent." Seeing their nods, the old man's eyes widened in disbelief. "How can this be? It has been nearly 10,000 years since anyone from the Fighting Qi continent broke through to the Fighting Monarch realm. Yet today, 5 of you appear at once." His gaze swept over them without restraint, filled with shock. Under such scrutiny, Xun and the others flushed faintly. Xiao gave a light cough and cupped his fists. "Senior." The old man came back to himself and laughed. Composing his expression, he said, "I am Su Feng, the overseer of this region. It is my duty to welcome newly ascended fighting monarchs." The 5 returned the greeting in turn, introducing themselves. Su Feng stroked his long beard, his gaze lingering on Xiaoyan, Xun and Kai Lin. He nodded in approval. Not bad, truly not bad. 3 such geniuses from the Fighting Qi continent, remarkable. Xiaoyan responded modestly, "Senior Su overpraises us." Su Feng smiled faintly. With a flick of his finger, 5 beams of light shot toward them. "These scrolls contain an introduction to the great world. Study them carefully. If anything is unclear, you may ask me." After expressing their thanks, the 5 sat cross-legged together. Xiaoyan summoned his heavenly flame, which wrapped around all of them like a protective cocoon. Then, focusing his mind, he poured his soul force into the scroll. "Careful, little fellow," Su Feng said with a faint smile. His gaze lingered on the flame surrounding them. After a moment of thought, he muttered softly, "What a peculiar flame! Somewhat resembling the Chaos Great Monarch flame, yet not quite the same." The moment Xiaoyan's soul force entered the scroll, an overwhelming torrent of information surged into his mind. His soul trembled as he forcefully pushed back the flood, stabilizing himself before continuing to read. Endless. Those were the 4 characters written at the very beginning. Yet their simplicity carried a boundless weight, instantly conveying the vastness of this world. Taking a breath, Xiaoyan continued. The great world was divided into 10 regions. At its heart lay the middle domain. The star-moon spirit domain of the starry sky and the Mingyan divine domain of the divine heaven were among the most powerful. The saint domain and heaven domain of the saint heaven realm were the most mysterious. The barbarian domain of the eastern wastelands and the forest domain were lands fraught with endless danger. The battle domain of the northern world stood strong, while the nether domain was a place of profound mystery where experts gathered like clouds. Lastly, the spirit domain of the southern heaven realm was a battleground where countless clans vied for supremacy. By the time he finished reading, Xiaoyan's heart was far from calm. In this great world, the realm of the fighting monarch was merely the beginning. Beyond it existed even greater powers, true experts who stood at the pinnacle. As expected of a great world, Xiaoyan licked his lips slowly. A fierce, unwavering resolve gathered in his eyes. "This is exactly what I've been seeking." Xiaoyan slowly opened his eyes, his heart surging with barely contained excitement. His gaze swept across Xun Cailin and the others. The 4 of them were still immersed within the scroll, yet faint traces of longing and anticipation already shone upon their faces. With a steady breath, Xiaoyan withdrew both his gaze and the heavenly flame that had been enveloping them. At that very moment, Su Feng appeared as if on cue. Smiling, he looked at Xiaoyan and spoke calmly, yet with unmistakable confidence. "Xiaoyan, how is it? This vast world is the true stage for the strong. The lower realm continent is nothing more than a backdrop." Xiaoyan exhaled deeply, his voice trembling slightly with exhilaration. As expected of the great thousand world, with just a brief introduction, I can already sense an aura beyond comparison. As their conversation continued, Xun and the other 3 gradually came back to their senses and rose to their feet. Their eyes, too, were filled with excitement and yearning. Guyuan glanced around before respectfully addressing Su Feng. "Senior, according to the scroll, the Great Thousand World is divided into 10 regions. Which region are we currently in?" Su Feng smiled faintly. I forgot to mention. This place is a special spatial zone created by a heavenly sovereign expert. It exists solely to receive those who have just advanced to the fighting monarch realm. It is known as the new sovereign world. You can consider it a small independent space. This particular zone lies within the forest domain. In fact, every region contains many such zones. After a brief pause, he pointed ahead. As for the square before you, although it appears vast and boundless, it is in reality only a few hundred meters wide. It is part of a formation. Beyond this formation lies the true new sovereign world. As he spoke, Su Feng took out a jade pendant and infused a trace of origin monarch qi into it. Instantly the pendant glowed. In the next moment, the seemingly endless space before Xiaoyan began to collapse silently. What revealed itself was a square broad and open, with several wooden houses standing around its edges. These wooden houses were established by various factions, Su Feng explained. In the Great Thousand World, they are considered average powers. Most of them possess one or two heavenly sovereign experts within their ranks, and they remain here year-round to recruit newly ascended fighting monarchs. My advice is that when you first arrive, it's best to join a sect. With that said, Su Feng lightly clenched the jade pendant. As the glow faded, his figure vanished without a trace. Join a sect, Xiaoyan murmured, turning to the others. After a brief moment of thought, he spoke farther. Uncle Zhu, what do you think? Gu Yuan fell silent for a moment before letting out a soft sigh, a bitter smile forming on his lips. To be honest, I'm not very inclined to join one. Jukun, standing beside him, nodded in agreement. Shuna smiled gently. Father and Uncle Zhu have long held positions of great authority in the Doqi continent. Naturally, they're unwilling to enter a sect and be treated as junior disciples, subject to others. Exposed so directly, both Gu Yuan and Zhu Kun showed faint embarrassment, their expressions turning slightly red. Kai Lin also spoke up from the side. I agree with Father. Rather than becoming a subordinate disciple, constantly taking orders, it would be better to venture out on our own. Xiaoyan nodded. It was not a matter of pride alone. More than anything, it was the confidence and presence within them that made them unwilling to bow their heads. This trait was common among those who had ascended from the lower realms, especially Xiaoyan and his companions. In the Doqi continent, where origin monarch qi was scarce, every step forward had been carved out through sheer effort. Because of this, their pride and dignity far surpassed that of many fighting monarchs from other lands. Xiaoyan, why don't we join that academy instead? Just as silence settled over the group, Shun-Er suddenly spoke. Following her gaze, Xiaoyan and the others looked toward the northeast corner. There stood an ordinary wooden house. Beside it was a green stone tablet, nearly as tall as a man, upon which 4 bold, powerful characters were carved. Yunluo Academy. Xiaoyan's eyes lit up instantly. Academy. These 2 words held profound meaning for him. His path as a true powerhouse had begun within an academy. In the end, it was also from an academy that he had obtained the opportunity to break through to the fighting monarch realm. Without hesitation, Xiaoyan said, Father Uncle Zhu Kai Lin, we can join that academy. From my experience, academies tend to offer more freedom. As if recognizing this as the most suitable choice, Gu Yuan and the others did not object. One by one, they nodded in agreement. The 5 of them stepped into the small wooden house of Yunluo Academy. The interior was simple, almost bare. There was only an old man dressed in white robes, seated behind an ancient wooden table. Hearing footsteps, the old man who had been dozing immediately straightened up. The moment his eyes fell upon Xiaoyan and the others, a wide grin spread across his face. Welcome, little ones. Are you here to join Yunluo Academy? His gaze swept across the 5 of them like that of a hungry wolf, his smile brimming with enthusiasm. Yes, Xiaoyan replied, though inwardly he felt somewhat speechless. He had only just arrived in the Great Thousand World, yet he had already encountered 2 old men, both equally strange, both observing them with peculiar intensity. Upon hearing Xiaoyan's confirmation, the old man's delight became even more apparent. He quickly asked for their names, then projected their images into a white jade bead. Afterward, he stood up, retrieved 5 scrolls from the table, and tossed one to each of them. Seeing their puzzled expressions, the old man chuckled. Since the founding of Yunlu Academy, there has been a rule. Every new student must undergo a trial. Only those who meet the required standard will be accepted. What you hold in your hands are blank scrolls personally crafted by the dean. Based on your mind, your soul, and other aspects, the scroll will generate a trial tailored specifically for you. Following his instructions, Xiao and the others closed their eyes, their consciousness sinking into the blank scrolls. Moments later, the scroll in Kai Lin's hand emitted 6 distinct rays of light. Soon after, Zun Er's scroll also released 6 different colors. The old man nodded subtly, satisfaction flickering in his eyes. Very quickly, Zhu Kun and Gu Yuan's scrolls shone almost simultaneously, each releasing 7 distinct rays of light. The 4 of them opened their eyes, gazing at the glowing scrolls in their hands before turning toward Xiao Yan. Yet Xiao Yan remained motionless, his eyes still closed. Time passed. The scroll in his hand showed no reaction at all. The old man's expression twitched slightly. Could it be? Before the thought could fully form, the scroll in Xiao Yan's hand suddenly erupted. 10 radiant beams of light burst forth, dazzling and overwhelming, instantly flooding the entire room. The old man's face froze in shock, then in the next instant it transformed into uncontrollable ecstasy. His voice rose sharply, almost a shout. Saint-level trial. It's actually a holy rank trial. The old man fixed Xiao Yan with a blazing gaze, his voice brimming with admiration as he praised him without pause. Xiao Yan slowly opened his eyes, unable to hide his curiosity, as he asked Senior, "What exactly is a holy rank trial?" The old man took a breath, calming his excitement before replying. The smelting trial of Yunluo Academy is divided into 4 tiers. 3 beams of light represent a lower-level smelting trial. 6 beams mark the middle level, 9 beams indicate the higher level, and 10 beams, that is the holy rank trial. Over the past 100 years, more than a dozen new disciples in Yunluo Academy have reached this level. I never expected that you, little fellow, would also achieve a holy rank trial. A hint of astonishment crossed Xiao Yan's face as he smiled faintly. His gaze shifted to the scrolls held by Zun and the others, and he asked Senior, "What kind of trial do we need to undergo?" The old man chuckled softly. "Because you have triggered a holy rank trial, the 4 of them have been directly admitted into the academy. You, however, must complete your trial alone. This is the privilege granted to a holy rank trial participant. The dean has said that reaching the holy rank standard itself is already proof of one's strength." Kai Lin frowned, clearly displeased. "What does that mean? Do you think we're incapable of completing our own trials?" Xiao Yan stepped forward and gently held her hand, his expression calm, yet firm. "Kai Lin, this is a vast world. For people like us who are still weak, danger lurks everywhere. If you enter the academy even a day earlier, your strength can grow that much sooner." Kai Lin snorted softly at his words, but said nothing further. Shunna knitted her brows slightly and spoke with concern. "But the holy rank trial sounds extremely difficult. Didn't you encounter countless dangers before young Master Xiao Yan?" Xiao Yan smiled with quiet confidence. "Shunna, trust me. Besides, I need this kind of training. Back in the Fighting Qi continent, I've been idle for far too long." The old man watched their exchange with a faint smile, waiting until Xiao Yan finished before speaking again. "Little fellow, a holy rank trial is not only filled with danger, it also demands great fortune and opportunity. Open the scroll and see its requirements." Xiao Yan released Kai Lin's hand and tore open the scroll. Instantly, the 10 beams of light vanished, replaced by several radiant golden words that shimmered in mid-air. Holy rank trial. Time limit 15 years. Requirements first. Obtain 5 middle rank heavenly beast monster cores. Second, collect 10 million monarch crystals. Third, obtain the highest honor in any prefecture-level competition. As Xiao Yan read those words, a wave of dizziness struck him. What kind of trial was this? It was practically impossible. The first requirement alone was overwhelming. Middle-rank heavenly beasts were beings equivalent to monarch emperor-level powerhouses. Each one could dominate an entire region. They were likely even more terrifying than Su Feng or even the old man standing before him. To obtain 5 of their monster cores meant killing 5 Monarch Emperor-level devil beasts. With his current strength as a fighting monarch, he might not even know how he died. Of course, purchasing them was another option. But a single Monarch Emperor-level Heavenly Beast core would likely cost over 1 million Monarch crystals. Buying all 5 was nothing more than a distant dream. The second requirement demanded 10 million Monarch crystals. In this vast world, Monarch crystals served as common currency and also contained traces of origin Monarch Chia, making them a basic cultivation resource. Yet Xiao Yan had just stepped into this world. Where could he possibly obtain such an enormous sum? It was equivalent to the total wealth of a small sect. The third requirement was even more daunting: to claim the highest honor in a prefecture-level competition. The great world was divided into 10 regions, each further split into numerous prefectures. Prefectures governed counties and counties governed cities. To stand at the very top of a prefecture-level competition was an achievement akin to ascending the heavens. Xiao Yan let out a bitter laugh. Pointing at the scroll, he said helplessly, "Senior, are you joking? How could anyone possibly complete this?" The old man let out a faint, mocking chuckle. "Do you know how generous the rewards are if you complete a holy rank trial and return to the academy?" Xiao Yan shook his head blankly. The old man gestured toward Jun-Er and the others. "They will enjoy the same treatment I receive within the academy. My strength is at the Monarch Emperor level. In Yunlo Academy, I am a 3rd-grade elder, and the cultivation resources I receive are far superior to those of ordinary instructors." He paused briefly before continuing, his tone turning heavier. "As for you, you will be granted the status of a 2nd-grade elder. There are only a dozen or so 2nd-grade elders in the entire academy. You should understand what that represents." Hearing this, Xiao Yan's heart began to pound. He swallowed hard, his resolve wavering for a moment. Of course, the old man added, his voice deepening. "The holy rank trial is extraordinarily difficult, especially the final requirement. Even I might not be able to accomplish it. Over the past century, Yunlo Academy has recruited hundreds of thousands of students, yet only a dozen or so have reached the holy rank trial and successfully returned." The old man raised 2 fingers. One of them left the academy 50 years ago. "His current achievements are beyond even my reach. I can only look up to him. The other, if you manage to complete the trial within 12 years and return, you may have the chance to meet him." Xiao Yan could only smile bitterly. Whether he could even survive and return within 15 years remained uncertain, let alone meeting such a figure. Young Master Xiao Yan. Shun-Er's eyes were filled with worry as she clung tightly to his arm. Ju-kun spoke in a low voice. "This is far too dangerous. Xiao Yan, we can complete our own trials." Xiao Yan fell silent for a moment, then suddenly smiled. His gaze swept over Jun-Er and the others, calm yet resolute. "You all focus on cultivating well in the academy. When I return, don't fall too far behind me." After speaking, he turned toward the old man and cupped his fists respectfully. "Senior, I entrust them to your care." The old man laughed heartily. "You are a holy rank trial participant. Their treatment in the academy will naturally not be lacking. Don't worry, I understand." Just as Xiao Yan let out a quiet breath of relief, the old man flicked out a crimson scroll. "According to the rules, this is a monarch skill for you. Since you are a holy rank trial participant, I can only provide a low-grade monarch art." Xiao Yan accepted the scroll, a wry smile forming on his lips. Monarch skills were divided into monarch arts of varying tiers, each further split into 4 grades. This low-grade monarch art was without question the lowest of them all. As expected, the holy rank trial was truly merciless. Under normal circumstances, he would at least receive a mid-grade or even high-grade monarch art. No need to wait for the next episode. The full audio novel is already available on my website. Check it out below.